Hi, it's Wednesday. That means it's time for another video edition of Widower Wednesday. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower, and today I'm talking about a concern I got from a viewer who worries that she is not the love of her widower's life. In fact, her concern goes like this. She goes, I find it hard knowing that I am not the love of my widower's life. My widower is the love of my life, but he says he has two great loves, and there will always be part of his heart that she is in. How do I overcome these feelings? So, first of all, great question. And by the way, if you have a question, you can feel free to leave a comment below in this video, or send me an email at abelkeogh.com, and I will answer your questions. But to get back to the concern that she's worried that she is not the love of her widower's life because he's a small portion of his heart basically reserved for his late wife. Let me break it down in a couple different ways here. The first is you're not crazy for feeling this way, so don't feel bad about having these feelings. I think just about everybody who's dated a widower kind of has these feelings at some point. But what I would kind of go back to is, first of all, one of the things I deal with when I'm on coaching sessions or in the Dating a Widower Facebook group, one of the things I always talk about is playing kind of pointless mind games. I think it's just kind of a tendency. Things that women tend to do is they kind of overthink things and overanalyze things. And so the fact that that you have this struggle, that a small part of the widower's heart is going to be reserved for somebody else, I think that's fine. That's normal. I know it's a concern that Julie had, and she had to kind of work through that on her own. The first thing I would deal with is don't really focus on this. Don't make this kind of the big he's never going to love me as much thing, because that's simply not true. The cool thing is that widowers, as their heart, as they learn to love again, their heart actually expands. And so while you may only have 99% of a widower's heart compared to his late wife that got 100% of the heart. The cool thing is that his heart's a lot bigger now. So you're getting 99.5% of a much bigger heart, which is much more than the late wife got. And I don't say this as some kind of comparison, or that he loves you more, or he loves the late wife more, or anything like that. But I'm just trying to ask you to maybe change your perspective on this and really look at it in a way that the widower is, that his heart is bigger now. And the fact that he's able to go out again and love again and give you, again, 99.5, 99.9% of a bigger heart is an awesome thing. And don't focus on the fact that there's a small part of his heart reserved for his late wife. I mean, one of the things I talk about is setting healthy boundaries, and I think it's a healthy boundary to ask a widower, that he focus on you and make you the focal point of his life and treat you like number one. But it's not a healthy boundary to go out and say you got to stop loving the late wife, because that's just not going to happen. And if for some reason, and this does happen once in a while, if you just can't live with the fact that a small part of his heart, no matter how big that heart is, a small part would be reserved for the late wife, that maybe dating a widower maybe isn't something that you should be doing. But don't sit there and fret and worry that this widower is somehow more in love with somebody else, or that the late wife got 100% of his heart, because he has a bigger heart now, and you've got the lion's share of that bigger heart. And I don't play these mind games and sit there and worry about them at all. It's not something that you should be worried about. What you should be worried about and focused on is the fact that is he treating me like number one? When I'm with him, do I feel like his thoughts and attention are on me, and that he's doing things, not just saying things, but he's doing things that show sacrifice, and the fact that he loves me. I think if you focus on that, I think this concern will go away. The other thing I would say about this is, one thing I say all the time to Julie is that she is the love of my life. And I know I say that, and there's people out there saying, oh my heck, it's the love of his life. What about Krista? What about his late wife? Didn't he love her? And yeah, I do love her, and she has that special place in my heart. But one of the things I always talk about too is starting new chapters. And I think after you lose a spouse, that part of your life closes, and it's kind of a different life. So in my circumstance, I knew my late wife from the time we were really little. We didn't start dating and get serious until we were both in college, but I knew her for a long time, and when she died, that part of my life closed, and I had to start a new life with Julie. I was a different person then, doing different things, and when I tell Julie she's the love of my life, I'm not lying. I'm not making that up, and I'm not also dissing the late wife. But I've had several parts of my life, and part of it, I had one life where I was married to the late wife and had a life with her, and the bigger part of my life, though, has been with Julie. And Julie is the love of my life. She's the love of my life right now. She is, what do you say? In some ways, I've created a new identity. I'm a new person. And this is kind of, my whole life with Julie has kind of been a new life, and she is the love of this life, the love of my life I'm in right now. And I hope that this relationship that we have goes on for another 40, 50 years or something like that, and goes on beyond the grave. And I think that we have, this wonderful life together. And so again, that doesn't diss my late wife, or it doesn't, make it that I love Julie more or the late wife more. I love them both equally, but Julie is my focus now. She is the love of my life, the life that I have right now. And I think if you just if widowers too, I know widowers are watching this, if you kind of look at it like that life's broken down in, a whole human life is broken down into many chapters, and you can divide those however you want. But for the purpose of this video and my Widower Wednesday columns, I really do talk about having different chapters, and you can have a love in each chapter, and that doesn't take away love that you've had previously or any love that you have now. But Julie's the love of my life, and if you've got 99.9% of the widower's heart right now, and he is doing everything that he can to show that he loves you, you're the love of his life as well. So don't play these mind games. Don't sit here and worry yourself about if a small part of his heart is for the late wife, because what you need to be focused on is growing your relationship now, setting healthy boundaries, and making sure that you're with somebody who's going to be there for you no matter what, and wants the same thing as you do, and you can have a wonderful, happy life together. Anyway, if you have more questions or concerns, feel free to leave them below. If you have comments on this video, you can leave them below as well. I'm Abel Keogh, author of the book Dating a Widower. Don't forget to subscribe. There's another video you can watch as well, and I'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you.